this is home, this is where we live, this is where we're brought up. And it's a community. There's not many places in South Africa, in Durban, that you can feel at home with your own neighbors, where your neighbors are not just people that live next door, but they become your family.
The South African government and its parastatal, Transnet, believes that there's a need to import more goods, bring in more bigger ships, the Panamax, into the Durban harbour, and thereby bringing in over 20 million containers and making Durban the gateway of Africa.
They're now planning to do expansion of the port, which is breaking now our culture, our community, where we have to restart life all over again.
They don't talk about houses, they don't talk about anything, they just tell us that they're going to move us here, they want to dig a port. That's what they're telling us. It's even better to stay in the shacks than living on the road, because I think we're going to end up on the road.
It's really making us angry. We were living in Mayville before, that's Kaitamena. We were forcibly removed because of apartheid. Now they want to relocate us to where? I think we are the forgotten people.
Moving us away is a convenient way to get rid of us so that the problems cannot be dealt with. And that is why relocation is not the option for us.
They can bring the port, it can work for them, it's not going to work for us. Unless we can only benefit if they can employ us.
The container port in Durban only employs 800 jobs. What's more important is that the local manufacturing industry that really created jobs and employ people, that has been destroyed. All we are going to be doing is importing. It means that the local manufacturers will be under severe pressure and they'll have to close down eventually because they won't be able to cope with cheap labor currently in China and India.
I think the Chinese are wanting to learn from South Africa about the way we do business, and we want to learn from Chinese. And I've seen networking. Every corner of this ICC here in Durban, you see people getting together, talking, networking.
Details need to be created in creating the development bank. Leaders of the BRICS nations are highlighting their success in forming a business council on the hopes of boosting trade and investment between the countries.
BRICS is basically Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. BRICS was formed after a lot of research by Goldman Sachs. The idea was to exchange goods and to develop a bank that they would have control over. Our concern about that sort of thing becomes that the BRICS countries will lead to economic devastation on the continent.
Brazil, Russia, India, China, Africa's open like bullet holes in my cap. Something you should know. You're dropping bricks from above, we're bringing bricks from below.
Bricks from below is a civil society concept which includes the partnerships between the South Durban Community Environmental Alliance, Groundwork Friends of the Earth Africa, and the Centre for Civil Society. The container port that's being proposed for Durban to expand will lead to 20 million container and trucks on the Durban roads and community roads. That will lead to more deaths.
Yeah, the climate angle on this port petrochem expansion is terribly important because Durban hosted the COP17, the Conference of the Parties of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. That was December 2011. We had 35,000 people descend on Durban to try to fix the climate, but we called it not COP, Conference of the Parties, but Conference of the Polluters, because the key negotiators, like the United States, as well as South Africa, China, Brazil, Russia, India, these big powers came not to solve the climate crisis, but to sabotage any binding agreement. And what the Durban port expansion does is just simply amplify the disregard of the climate that we saw at the COP17, because frankly, if you look at the environmental impact assessment work by consultants like the CSIR and other private firms that Transnet have hired, it's climate denialism. They're just not taking climate seriously.
From a beautiful vegetative area, it's become a hub of industry, noise.
The aroma of Merebank, that's what we call it. You do. You may get the smell, but I don't.
Between the two refineries in Merebank, you are suffering massive health risks, because the primary school that's right between them, Settlers Primary, has been recorded at a 52% asthma rate, the highest recorded ever in the world.
So Melissa was born in another area and she doesn't wheeze. But my other two daughters, Maria and Marsha, were born in Merebank and they are chronic asthmatics. Merebank suddenly became a place where leukemia and cancer was in increase. And we realized it is because of the pollutants that have been pushed into the air that has affected our people.
We need to detox, not retox, that part of South Durban.
So we want to ensure that our livelihoods that we are involved in as poor people in this country, in South Africa, is defended, is advanced and protected. If need be, we need to fight for it.
When the blood still dries, my editor tells us not to criticize, cause they're bringing us a boom like industrialized. But we don't want more construction, corruption and drama. Eyes still wet from the tears of Maracana. It's another power block, fuck all change. 99% plain and the 1% gain. If they are guilty, they must pay. If they are guilty, if they are guilty, they must pay. They must pay. What you know about building blocks and blocks that won't build?